Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Arlington Experience with Jim Ross. I'm Jim Ross. I'm here with three really cool people I just met a little while ago because I just did their podcast. And now they have to return the favor and sit and talk to me a little bit about who they are and what they're doing. So I'm here with Amy, Daryl, and John with the Arlington Citizen Media. Did I get all that right?
You did. 100%.
Awesome.
Outstanding. Well, thank y'all for sticking around and agreeing to accept the punishment coming back from me now getting to ask y'all questions.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
So, who wants to tell me, first of all, what is the Arlington Citizens Media?
I mean, we founded the podcast together, and then we brought Rody in, John.
I go by Rody
He goes
John.
by Rody John.
Yeah.
Rody John?
I've known him as Rody
Okay.
John almost my whole life.
Yeah.
So we are a podcast. We go out and talk to the people of Arlington, business owners, just regular people, artists, musicians. Like, if anyone has a story in Arlington, like, we want to help tell that story. And that's kind of the mission that we've kind of come across, is that there's so much going on in the city. It's a big city. And there's so much interesting things happening, especially now, that we wanted to get out there and just kind of showcase that and kind of bring that stuff that people may not know to the forefront.
Right. We felt like there was a hole there and it needed to be filled. And since nobody else was doing it, we were going to do it ourselves. So it's homegrown. We use our own equipment. We can go anywhere basically to do these interviews. And we really enjoy it.
Am I detecting just a little bit of Arlington Pride here with
So
you three?
much,
For sure.
so much.
Yeah.
Well, that's awfully cool. So how long ago did y'all start this thing? How did it happen?
About 2 years now. They met in December of 2018, and then we started recording in
April. Actually,
April
the
of
first
2019.
thing that we did was the city council races
Yeah.
of 2019. We talked to a bunch of candidates, and it was
Right.
really hard back then because we're like, "Hey, we're a new
Right.
podcast. You want to be on our show?" And people were like, "Who?"
Yeah.
Right.
So
And we hadn't had anything out yet, so
Yeah.
we couldn't even show them what we were doing. But luckily, a couple people trusted us
Yeah.
enough to come out.
Okay, so aside from your podcast to me that we just did, because I know that you're going to say it was my podcast that was the most fun and most interesting. But if we carve that out,
Mhm.
what was the most interesting podcast that y'all have done so far?
I think we all probably have different ones.
yeah, what was yours?
For me, so I went to Little Elementary for a couple of years with Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence played for the Rangers,
Uh-huh.
the
you're a
Giants,
big
Astros,
baseball fan.
and I'm a big baseball fan. I worked
Yeah,
for the
huge.
Rangers on the grounds crew for 5 years. So talking to Hunter and his wife Lexi was absolutely amazing. Lexi also has a YouTube show, Let's Get Lexi. I'm just going to plug her right there.
Plugger.
Yeah, but Hunter Pence, I think he's just such a nice guy. He came out and planted trees at a little elementary school, our alma mater, and just being able to put his story out there was even better, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Daryl?
I would say probably the podcast that we did on the stage at Arlington Music Hall.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cool to be able to be on the same stage as so many legends and so many performers that have been there. And it's just a cool place. It's a cool building. It's got the cool marquee. That's my favorite building in Arlington. So, like, it was definitely a special moment to be on that stage.
Very cool.
That was
Amy?
a fun day. I'm going to say not necessarily a podcast, but at the beginning of the pandemic, Rody and I put together this musicians benefit show. It was all pre-recorded, and we were really goofy, and it was called Arlington Cares, and we raised money for out-of-work musicians, and places like Hurtado, Tipsy Oak, and Legal Draft graciously, and the music hall lent us their space for free, and musicians came and we recorded them and had little snippets in between, and we put it out as a live stream and raised quite a bit of money for local artists. So
Wow, that's cool. So what do y'all want to do with the Arlington Citizens Media? Where do you want to take this podcast?
I want there's so many people in the community that know of each other, but they don't know each other. So if we could help bring the community together, and then I'm not saying anything bad about the city of Arlington, but the people running it also may not know about a lot of the artists. So we want to also bring that together because they got stuff to do. We'd much rather take over the art side and help bring all that together and then put it on the forefront.
We called that at UTA College of Business synergy.
Yes.
we would like to be we want to help be a connective glue that puts people together, and we can see more cool things happening in Arlington. I mean, just the 2 years that we've been doing this, I feel the city has been doing a lot of cool things. I mean, we have an esports stadium now. We have the Rangers have a new ballpark. Urban Union is rocking. We've got a bunch of like musicians who are calling Arlington home, not being like, I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth. They're like, I'm from Arlington. And that's what we want to see more of. I want people to like, I want people to like look at what we're doing in Arlington and be like, I want to do that. I want to be there. That's a cool place. And I want to help us do it.
Amy?
I'd like us to be able to monetize and do something like this as a job, right?
Yes,
Because
right,
right now this is a hobby. We enjoy it. We love it. But it would be great to somehow be able to work that into being a full-time position.
Because we could tell so many more stories if I was doing it full time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, tell our viewers what they can do to help y'all. I mean, is it something that they can reach out and say, "I've got a story for you"?
Yeah.
Or
Absolutely.
how do they subscribe to the podcast? Tell our viewers how they can help you.
The podcast is called The Downtown. It is on all platforms that you get your podcast from. You can also listen to it on YouTube. We'll work on the video part. It's a slow process. But if you do have stories, or you yourself want to be on it, you want to have regular Arlington people on, because you have a story in you about the city of
Everyone
Arlington.
has a story about the city of Arlington.
Everyone has a favorite taco place, coffee place, pizza place, food place in general. We have so much diverse food in this place that, I mean, even with your platform, we could do a diners, dive-ins, and drives when it comes to different food places, or caves, or 1851. I mean, this place is full of diversity, and we want to showcase all of it.
Folks, this is what it's all about in Arlington. Arlington folks taking care of Arlington folks. And I would encourage everybody who's viewing us today, please get online. Look these folks up.
You can email us, just
Right.
arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com.
We're on Facebook, and Instagram at Arlington Citizen Media.
On
Twitter.
I'm pretty
ATX
active on
Citizen.
Twitter.
He's active on both. He's our social media guy.
I love
Yeah.
it. So let's do what we do best in Arlington, and that's taking care of each other. And let's view them, let's watch them, let's subscribe, let's communicate with them, and let them know what stories are out there that they can tap into. And folks, thank you so much for joining us. And remember, until next time, take care of each other. I love you. God bless. We'll see you on the next episode of the Arlington Experience.